anyway, we're joined today with Jax from the Pole Academy.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me into a Table Friend crew.
Of course. It's a prestigious crew, so you know.
I am very honored.
There's a waiting list of like no people, so you're
Oh, to the top.
All right. So,
everyone gets to join at the soft table, okay?
well, anyway, Jax, so what exactly is the Pole Academy? We want to kind of know like your background, and you know, we'll probably springboard some questions off of that.
Oh yeah, of course. So I teach pole dance and fitness classes.
Nice.
So we have group classes, private lessons. We do private parties, which are always a hit. And this summer will be open 8 years.
8 years. That blows me away. Big congrats.
Awesome.
That's huge. Yeah.
Thank you. Survived the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right.
Trucking along.
And survive that, we can handle just about everything, right?
Right.
Yeah, knock on wood, never know what's next, right?
Oh man.
Yeah. Very squishy table.
Yeah. Because last week you had us come. Me and Logan actually got the opportunity to come to your
you got
facility.
to come to the Purple
Kicking
Palace.
I really like the lighting in there. Everything looked. Because we've like always tried we play with lighting and try and get new kind of vibes in. But I walked through space, I was like, oh, this is.
Oh yeah, all the LED lights and stuff.
What tripped me out was the unlocking poles, like the like on the
Because
bearings.
they can spin, yes. Yeah, most
So
people don't know that we're magical liars and that poles can spin. Not all of them, but most of them can. So if you ever see the girl on like TikTok or YouTube or Cirque du Soleil or at the club and she's just flying, it's because the pole is usually spinning.
That's interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I did not know that. Okay, because I'm always amazed.
Slide
like,
around
the core strength, and then like how graceful.
You can.
I've got a couple clients that do it like a lot, and they love it, and they're like they want to build their core strength and all this stuff. I'm like, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed at just so fluid. I'm like, it's like 40 rotations, still no momentum. Like, how is this possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a thing called static rotation. So static is a locked or stationary pole, but if you can manipulate that with a couple of movements. But yeah, if they're just going for 30 times and their hands haven't been on it, the pole is spinning.
Okay.
We tricked you.
I still can't.
I'm still amazed. I
can't fathom how like they did like color guard in high school did the baton
let
alone hold your body into it.
For
all
sure.
the coordination.
Right.
Yep.
But you know, when we were talking last week, you know, you guys survived through COVID like all of us, and we all had to make some adjustments.
Yes.
And I thought that was really interesting because you took a different approach, and I wanted to see, you know, if you had any, I guess, tidbits or info on that.
We went completely online. So all of our classes went completely online, and we had a curriculum for if people had poles in their house, because some people do, some people don't. That industry market blew up because everyone's like, I need a pole for the house if we're quarantined for 6 months. But we moved everything online and had pole and non-pole classes, private lessons, and then got to market to the entire world instead of just like our little community. But to even be able to do that, our community was nice enough to share some tips and secrets, and they're like, hey, this is how we do it, this is how we started it. Like the studios in New York who were already shutting down by the time we were like, there's a flu thing happening. Like we were so late in the game down here, we're like, something's happening. So they were nice enough to connect with us and share our resources and stuff. So
that's awesome.
it was a nice smooth transition to the Zoom world. Gotta Zoom it up.
Another thing, most people like pole fitness is. We were just talking about competitions. This is a thing that is nation, country, worldwide.
International.
Like, is there like it's like powerlifting? You have like the state federation and then the international federation.
We do.
We have. Is there like America versus Russia, like sort of?
No, because Russia would totally win. But there's so many other countries that it's much more prominent that the America still has like those like. I don't know, pole dancing, because of all the backlash it's had. But all the other countries are like, oh my god, you don't do pole? Ew, gross. It's like the yoga over there. Like everybody does it. But we have, you know, the United States Pole Sport Federation, Pole Dance Federation, the Arnold hosts it.
The Arnold?
Yeah, we're at the Arnold! Yes!
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he went like Facebook Live or Instagram Live one of the years, and he's just like,
just being
there's like someone doing a split in there, and he's like, yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's super sick. Yeah, I had no idea.
There's a lot of like sports that are over in Europe that like we don't think about. Like, you know, my manager Austin in Spartanburg, he's like competitive arm wrestler.
Oh yeah.
In Russia,
my
it's like
God.
life or death.
is so serious.
Those guys
sounds like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, no, yeah. Well, I was just thinking when she said Russia would destroy us in the poll, I'm thinking like, oh
yeah, they have way better discipline.
Right. But yeah. So, well, I mean, how like, what got you into it?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Oh, I was a stripper.
No,
I'm self-taught that way. So I this summer I'll have been doing pole for 15 years.
Wow.
And I was self-taught since day one. The first time I was in a class was to get my certification. And they're all going around the room like, oh, just like introduce yourselves, your name, you know, why you're here. And I was like, oh, no, I've been teaching in my apartment now. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right so I don't kill people. And they're like, great. Woo! Got certified.
Yeah, nice.
When did it become like a certification then?
I got certified in 2013, but it was kind of more up and coming. I forget when X-Pole started it, and there's a bunch of certifications now. That was kind of the front runner. But yeah, early 2010s or so. I don't remember their exact date, but certifications started popping up. Pole studios started popping up, and back in my day, this was before the TikToks and the Instagrams. It was like 5 YouTube videos, and I was like, it went from a very intermediate or beginner spin to like something I had no business ever trying to do in my entire life. I was like, oh, I can do 5 moves.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, super awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I've tried climbing a pole once, like, and it went terrible. I can't even imagine like actually supporting my frame properly. I'm sure there's a ton of technique to it. I'm sure like everything, it's proper leverages, proper everything. But it's like, I'm watching. I'm like, that's amazing. I can barely like hold myself when I do chin-ups. What's happening?
Y'all should see me try to do a rope climb. Like, legs do not.
That's the challenge.
Oh,
this week, man. Is
just arms. You just muscle it up.
Jacob, use your legs. No.
Well, I don't know how. I'm like, they squat and they extend.
That's it. Walk me to my car.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Like, what is flexion and tension? I don't understand. No, there's a form and technique to everything. There's a push, a pull, there's all the muscles, but they're just very different muscles. Like, you have your big bulky muscles, and you have the little micro muscles, and you have to use all of it.
Right.
So.
That's cool. That's super cool. I mean, I think I've seen quite a bit, because like I said, I have a few clients online that I know do it very passionately. And it's very artistic. Like, and I know it requires intense like physical capabilities, but it's like anyone that gets proficient in just about any sport, it does start to look almost like art, you know. And so something like this is a lot more grace and artisticness than I would say. Like what maybe like powerlifting, it's a little more like loud. I mean, we'll look at a deadlift and be like, that is pretty because we know the technique wise, but for something like that, it's super cool. How would you say you guys go about like targeting market, like when you guys reach out, get new people? Like, is this something like, is the party thing usually where you get most of your clientele from?
A lot of the parties are like one and done. So it's like a birthday, bachelorette, girls' night. A lot of quarantine, get the heck out of the house parties. There's a lot of like, we just want to get out of the house. But they usually come for a good time, but they tell their friends, and there's, put it on Instagram, tag us, so we'll get some word of mouth referrals.
Sure.
I pay for a lot of marketing for my SEOs and Google. I do promotions on Facebook and Instagram posts. But when we first opened, just Groupon was a huge one. And I turned my Groupon off finally. I was like, they're fun.
Yeah.
Gotta use it when we start the business. But we did a lot of Groupon. And then just either word of mouth, so a lot of friend referrals, or people tagging us now.
Cool. And like, I don't need any... I could have sat on my couch, gotten up and walked right into the pole academy and taken a class.
Yes, because the very first thing is like, hi, this is the pole, and this is how you walk around, and everyone's like, woo!
That was a workout.
Woo! So tough. But the first intro to pole class, you'll go over the proper technique of walking, spinning, and then climbing. So your feet come off the floor the very first class.
That's so cool. Like, anybody can kind of jump into that level of, I'm going to be off the floor today.
Because people, I'm like, wear shorts, and they're like, oh, this is serious. I was like, you want it on the pole, get on the pole. Instead of like talking about it or demoing or something, I was like, no, you're paying for this, so I want you to experience it. And then they're like, why do my muscles hurt and I feel sweaty? I'm like, yes.
It's like the Matrix. It's like, you never used that.
Well, that's good. Like, so we use a lot of, like, if we're training for a deadlift and say we see a weakness, then we use a lot of accessory work to train up the rest of it. How do you, is there a training split for this? Is there like, you just need to show up and just do more of the climbing, or
do you
is it
set a regimen like, hey, we want you to practice so many hours per week, maybe keep it to a certain duration? Anything like that?
We recommend people get a home pole if they can afford it, if it allows their space and stuff. So how else are you going to do homework if you don't have a pole?
Yeah, exactly.
Or then they get a membership and they're there like 6 days a week and we're like, hey friends, we do recommend rest days. But we have conditioning classes. We do conditioning in the regular classes, and it is kind of just a repetition or muscle memory. So it's like, well, you're only going to get better at climbing a pole if you keep climbing a pole. Right. But we can give them extra workouts like at home, whether it's weightlifting, calisthenics. If we're like, we'll get, at least a 20-pound weight or something, or even 5 pounds to do wrist flexions and stuff. So there's a couple other things. And then we have a variety of classes on and off the pole to supplement it too. So you want to get more flexible? We have classes for that. You want to get stronger? We have classes for that. You want to be sexy dancing and just roll around on the floor? We got a class for that.
I'd be good at that one.
I like the rolling around
sexy. Starting out as a stripper, I was like, that's how I started too.
Listen, man, that's
how tall were your heels?
Yeah, that's right. Very tall. My calves did not look good for a long time. I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you talked about all the different aspects of pole fitness, pole sport, and all the classes you guys offer. I'm just wondering, I guess, what's the stigma like when you're introducing yourself to your business, your model to a regular person? How do you guys present it so that,
I usually start with, we're going through we teach dance and fitness classes. And I don't really give too much of the stigma, because the more you come to the classes, if you want to take the sexy class, that's fine. But I'm not just like, hi, I'm a stripper. I took the one thing I liked from the club out. And it's like, okay, calm down. You're weird. But we do go over, people want to do weight loss or body transformation. I was like, you might have a little weight loss, but you will have insane body transformation. Don't count the calories, count the inches that you're going to lose off of your waist. But a lot of it's just a mental health break. So this is how people can disassociate. So we call it Therapole instead of therapy, which is way cheaper. But it's just their moment to walk in, leave everything at the door. They see a community of friends that they usually see in class, or at least the instructors, and then they go about the rest of their day. And hopefully it was a little bit better because we cheered on an accomplishment, and that sense of growth and community is there.
Of course. No, that's great. I mean, that's something that's really important. I guess really the whole point I was trying to bring home is that it is in every regard a fitness studio.
Absolutely.
So
you're
people,
gonna be sweaty.
I was gonna say, you're
gonna want to shower. Don't go out
out
for dinner afterwards. We're go home and take a shower.
Right. Yeah. No, I believe it. I was looking at it. I'm like,
that's like the weightlifting and stuff I watch. Let's not take the Olympics. The weightlifting, the wrestling, all that brute force strength. None of it I feel is as strong as the ring gymnasts.
Yes.
Where you're just doing those and that's what I put a lot of pole fitness
just spin the cats over and over.
Just being able to hold yourself in that position, up and down with verticality that, and then spin it, adding a spin. Oh my god!
I'd be so disoriented. Ask me to turn around twice.
Yeah, exactly.
We talk about motor pattern and development a lot, with the squat, the bench, the deadlift. But you think about to simultaneously keep your abs in a flexed and contracted position.
To hold your body
while you're upside down and spinning and a split.
I'll practice my breathing. I'm good.
With
aid
shields. But and we were trying to get into, not me, not personally, but our federation was trying to get into the Olympics. So they applied for it. And there's a bunch of memes of gymnastics and stuff that's you can do the 2 bars or the uneven bars or something. We're we have one big bar. What's the difference? So there's a lot of people gunning for that, and I'm just if that's what people want, I'm not an Olympic type person that I would want to be in that, but I would totally watch it and support it. So there are people that
Team
would
USA
be
pole.
Yes, there are people that will be thriving at that.
Yeah. Russia will still smoke us, but whatever.
No, totally. But we're just happy to participate.
That's right. We'll take second. We're cool second.
That's right.
That's cool. How I feel it would be super hard for us. Do men just naturally gravitate away from it because they know the difficulty, or is that? I guess there would be probably some stigma in that too, men thinking maybe pole's not for me because I'm not a girl. That's dumb. Yeah. But do you guys get some men to actually like come join it? Because it would be great for all of us.
I don't want to say co because we're all inclusive. So if it doesn't matter if you're male, female, trans, non-binary, it doesn't matter. Yeah. We accept all of you. If you want to give me money, like give me money. That's a business model. That's what you're supposed to do. If you want to come join and be sweaty and have a good time, totally fine. But yeah, there is a couple of men that are like, oh, I wouldn't do that, and I don't want to spit, and they have this like idea about it, and then their partners are coming home, and they're like, I climbed to the top of a 14-foot pole, and like I can walk in these stilts, and they're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Or they just want to come in and they're like, I want to hold myself sideways like Jason Statham, and I was like, well, I can show you how to do that in like 6 months. And they're like, oh, you can do it. I was like, yes, in the air with 8-inch heels, and they're like, oh.
Yeah. I feel like we know.
Eat just humble pie. Yeah.
Just the amount of ridiculous.
Well, we know because we actually, we like to explore like what our bodies are capable of, but there's stigma in all of our businesses. We all experience it. Can't get one more person. I don't want to get big and bulky.
Well, how many girls do we hear? I don't want to get bulky. Which is I want to become a man.
Or you sell something. You must sell steroids.
I'm a snake oil salesman.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Disregard all the stacks of literature in the back.
That's right.
Snake oil, right? But there's stigmas with anything.
But the best we can do is just educate them. So having conversations with people, or how we're promoting and marketing things. Sure. Like I would love to have more gentlemen come in and like show their faces and stuff, but
or even the experience. Like we like to encourage. If I get someone that's just like, no, I don't want to get big and bulky, and it'll say it is coming from. Please come try it once, and I promise you, by the time you leave, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't what I thought it was.
Right.
It almost never is. Like movies, media, stuff like that can still portray any of our businesses in a negative way. We just make it what it is. And, but that's. Sounds like you're doing great. Yeah.
8 years. I mean, you're doing fantastic.
Yeah. What made you want to open your own place? Because it sounds like you got into it just like almost like a hobby, and you
kind of by accident.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Nice.
It was by accident, like getting into it, because I was always had like a big girl quote unquote job with like health benefits and a W-4, but I was dancing, and I was like, I just really liked what I was doing, and I would bounce around to different clubs, and every time that I went to another club, I would have acquaintances I hadn't seen. I'm just like, hey, Portia, or whatever, and they're just like, oh my god, you look so good, like you've lost weight, I see your stage show, like you're doing all these crazy tricks, like what do you do? And I was like, eat Waffle House at 4 a.m. with you? Like, I don't know. I just
right there with you, girl.
Let's
take notes.
That's the key.
We're having an alarm going off for him.
Gotta go to Waffle House. Hash browns. But I was like, well, I got a pole, and like I just keep doing this because I'm bored on stage other than that. So I just kept dancing. And I'm like, oh my god, show me, teach me, I'll pay you. And I'm like,
ooh, interesting.
Well,
how much and how often?
Well, I was really upfront. I was like, I am not certified. Like, I wing it harder than my eyeliner, but I'll show you how I started. And then, like, we'll just keep kind of progressing and just come to my apartment. I'll charge you for an hour. And then they got bigger and bigger. And then they got an LLC. And then they got insurance. And then I was like, I need a bigger spot.
That's
so
awesome.
I have my studio.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Have you been in Greenville the whole time?
Yeah. Over there off Haywood Road, Congaree.
Right.
It's crazy how it all snowballs too. You start with one kind of direction, and you have this idea for what it is. It's just a side hustle or whatever, and then compounding over time, things grow and change. So that's really cool. It's really inspiring, especially 8 years in business. And I think people don't like, if you're not a business owner and you haven't started that.
Those first couple of years.
I don't think
terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Scary.
It still is sometimes.
It is.
But
yeah. So the first couple of years, like I said, I just taught in my apartment and just kept building a curriculum. And I was like, well, when I move into this, like, I'm going to have all these different classes, and I kind of know my hours, and I kind of know my clientele and how to market. But it was just one of those conversations I had with, like, my mom and, like, my tax lady and my business partner. And I was like, if I build it, they will come. And it was like, all right, here's a few $1,000s. Open it up, paint it purple.
Paint it
purple. And then sure enough, people came.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people came. I still have the people like, oh, how long have you been here? I'm like, 8 years. I'm like, no. I was like, no, really. This was John Paul's Armadillo office, because that was like the big restaurant that was next to it.
Oh wow! now that's taking me back. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You have like slight PTSD about the bear
geez,
outside.
like, oh my god, I grew up with this.
So they're like, no, you
Nah,
haven't been here
yeah.
for the entire time. Yeah. I was like, that was back when the Bonsicola Wellness Arena was the Milo Center. Forever ago.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been saying?
About 10 years actually. So I was here, but I just like I didn't know very much. Like,
No, that whole Calgary area was completely different. Yeah, but
yeah.
all of Greenville was different
Yeah.
back then. But
Yeah.
you've been here now.
Well, I mean, I've only
You've been to Spartanburg.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Bowling Springs, so
That's right, okay.
I rarely came to Greenville before before I opened the store. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but now I live here. So yeah.
Yeah, most of the time when I'm giving people directions, I'm like, do you know where Haywood Mall is? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, Mia, because they're like, yes. And I was like, Brass Monkey that used to be Chiefs. And they're like, yes. So then they kind of have like the target of where we are. So
It's crazy. The improvement of our technology has like totally diminished our ability to like look at street signs.
Dude,
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Like growing up, I knew every road in my town. When I go back, I still kind of remember. I'm like, that's weird. But then I'll drive around here, and it's just like I still don't know the names of most of the roads that I use.
You're like, it's turn left at the TD Bank, but it's not the TD Bank anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like, no.
It says turn left, but I don't see the TD Bank. I'm not doing it. I don't trust this shit.
Liar. Shut up, Siri. You don't know.
Yeah. But so I guess in summary or in conclusion, is there anything that you have upcoming or that you would like to let people know about,
Well,
what you
I
guys are
think
doing?
all of our table friends will be at the Tough Expo.
It's going to be
Yes.
sick. Very excited. Very excited.
Yes. And then we also have our student showcase, March 20th.
Okay.
It's going to be pretty small to friends and family, but there are enough tickets available. So if a couple people want to come check it out, and we're probably going to be doing more of those. Yeah. But I'm performing at the Rouge Ball, the Women's Empowerment Gala for Katie Cotton. Yep. So there's a couple other local events that will be popping around. So follow us on Instagram at the Pole Academy, TikTok at the Pole Academy, Facebook at the Pole Academy.
Keep it simple. I love it.
Yep. So we're all over the place.
Heck yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you again for coming out here and
Thank
being
you.
on this. It's always cool to integrate and, connect with other fitness and health oriented businesses.
We need more table friends.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
We're building a roster.
Yeah.
Put on some heels.
Are we in a cult
Let's
now?
get on a pole. That's what I want to do.
See, I was talking
Yes.
I want to.
Yeah, I think we should make it happen.
I really, really want to.
Yeah.
I'm down.
My
I'm
idea
super
last week was like we're
I'm
ready
ready
to
to
do
eat.
in the scene, in the tone of The Office,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we're being interviewed outside of the pole class. And
Yes.
I want a before and
it's
after
like,
shot.
Yes,
it's like,
yeah.
my wife said I needed to step up my game in,
Yes.
in a few ways. I love
I love it. Absolutely.
We can do that. That'd be easy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can I play the arrogant douchebag? Like, I'm gonna smoke this, and by the end of it, I'm like crying. I'm like,
I know.
Serious
I'm
supporter.
immediately.
they told me I wasn't that good, and I can't handle that.
I'm gonna be the
You were
real
a
quiet guy,
pretty princess.
sociopath. Walk up to the pole and sniff it. I said real quiet sociopathic guy in the back. Back
I
corners.
was like, it's gonna probably smell like alcohol. They're very
clean.
Looking through your eyebrows at everybody, just Jacob, you okay? Yeah, fine.
Just
Do your thing. Yeah.
me talking to myself in my head. It's like I have the tiger, baby.
That's right. It's me versus the pole.
we'll do like a Britney Spears warm up, get y'all going.
Yes.
Let's go.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, let's put that into
Yes,
movement.
let's
Yeah.
make it into
Please.
fruition.
Please.
Well, awesome. With that being said, you guys, you have been listening to the Upstate Strengthcast presented at TriFit Barbell with the Upstate Coalition and the Pole Academy. Thank you guys for listening and or watching. We will see you next time.
Thanks.
Or you'll see us. Yeah.
Here, see, visual.
Yeah.
Break.
If we can hear and see who's watching us, then some fierce.
So I'm watching you.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah.
Thank you, friends.
No, thank you for coming out.
That's
Of
awesome.
course.
Yeah, I felt so bad last week after we met. Like, I was like, damn it. I probably sounded like I was trying to sell her on some kind of, community or,
No, you're
coalition.
fine.
But
I was just like, oh, tell me more about